It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Tyrone Lowe. Hello, everyone. This is Tyrone Lowe, and this is the show called The Legends. And straight from South Africa, I have the fabulous, talented Cebu. Good morning, Cebu.
Good morning, Tyrone.
Well, it's like afternoon over there, you know. But I'm glad to have you on. I'm glad to have you on my show. So, Cebu, let's talk about the beginning at the age of 8, at the age of 6, when you started singing. We'll take it from there.
All right. I started singing at the age of 6. That is the age that I recall my musical journey beginning. And it was basically because both my mom, my late mom, and my dad were pastors. So as they're standing in front of a whole congregation and they preach, and then there's a time to sing, I would be the first to take over that. I'll totally dominate the singing side of things. Wherever it was, I was involved musically. I joined the primary school choir where I was in at a very young age. I was the youngest member. Won a couple of
Okay.
awards for the school as well. And then I attended a high school that didn't have music. So what I did was I started poetry classes when I was in grade 8. And those poetry classes then developed into a space where I was allowing kids from surrounding schools, which were also underprivileged schools, to go and showcase their talents, and basically got permission from the school principals to allow these sessions to happen only during intervals, which were like 45 minutes. So those poetry classes then turned into musical sessions where we were able to get, kids who were being roped into drugs and all sorts of other, harmful activities. And we kind of gave them a space and just a place to grow and to say, what, harness your talent and mix up with some of us. And that is where Cebu began to be Cebu.
Okay. So, as far as your professional status, how did you acquire that, and when did you acquire that?
I've always known that I'm going to be a musician, singer songwriter, because I've always written things that come out of my mouth. So I can say my music career for me started when I left school. 2009, I matriculated and I didn't study any further. So I threw my whole life into music. So 2010, I was a part of a group called Elements of Soul. I was the only singer songwriter. I co produced an album that had 13 songs, ended up writing 18 songs, but we only
Wow.
recorded 13 of those. And we were touring surrounding countries, Namibia, Mozambique, other countries around here in Africa. And in 2012, late 2012, I had to come back to East London, South Africa, because my mom fell ill and she was bedridden. So, yeah.
Okay. Self-taught keyboardist. Let's talk about that.
I've got siblings, and my brother, he's also a pastor now. He had this old Yamaha keyboard. I think it had 72 keys. And I used to watch him play this thing because he was so busy. He did not have time to sit and show me how to play the keyboard. So what I would do was whenever he's playing, I'd be looking over his shoulder or I'd be hiding behind his waist to see what notes is he pressing and so on and so forth. So it was literally just a matter of my curiosity where I started stumbling onto chords and hearing things in my head, then translating those things with playing, notes and sounds that I didn't even understand, but it sounded so good. So to me, that was music.
So, through your expression of music, what are you expressing, and what is it that you're looking for your crowd to feel?
Well, I would say the crowd is to feel my soul.
Okay.
The reason why I do music is because I'm not only sending a message to my listeners because of what I have been through, or I want them to hear my pain or whatever emotion that I have intact or in alignment with what I have written, but it's more of telling a story for each and everyone to find themselves in one of my songs, because that is also what I think Breaking Dawn is different in. There's literally a song for everyone in the album here. So yeah, I would say my soul.
Okay. Every artist has a downfall, and I noticed that you mentioned pain. So, can you tell me a little bit about, give me a little simulation of what you went through, just a short version of it, so people could be encouraged to let
Yeah.
us know that each artist goes through things in life, even though they might reach a certain height of their status.
Uh-huh. Well, I grew up in a home where I was living with both my parents, but it didn't feel like both my parents were alive, because alcohol was always the biggest thing and was the enemy. It was always there. It was always present, and it's something that I never ever spoke about. So to many people this will come as a shocker, because I don't drink, and I don't drink because of the pain that comes with all of that. There's just too much. You know, I don't know how to explain this to you guys, but I had living parents who knew that I'm so talented in this way, but my mom would find herself saying, "You know what, Sibu, you're making a noise. Close the door." Until the one day when I literally just got out of school, 2009, 2010, I bumped into these two guys. I started singing. They recorded me. We flew to Johannesburg, and I came back home and I showed them the CD and I gave them a stack of money, and they were like, "What is this? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm singing. I told you I can sing." So only then they started believing, when they started seeing the results of this thing that they never wanted to support.
Okay.
So I would say, yeah, those have been one of my many challenges and pains that
And to
I'm
my
still having.
viewers, that's very encouraging to a lot of artists, that go through things in life, and through spirituality, you go through things and you come out of it, as long as you go through it, you know. So Sibu, let's talk about your first appearance with your first crowd. What what was going through your head when you actually had to sing in front of a whole lot of people?
Oh, guys, that was in 2009. That was 2 days after I had written my last exam in November.
Hmm.
And I remember this day because the kids were still writing, they were asking for pens and Koki pens and writing those lovely messages, farewell messages and stuff on what I was wearing. So my it was such an adrenaline rush for me, because I always, I'm talkative, point blank. Everybody knows that about me, and I'm a people's person. I love people, and you know I was just received in a way that I never ever thought existed. I didn't know that I could feel that way, because I grew up thinking that happiness is for some people, and I wasn't one of those people.
Okay.
So when I started singing the first time to my first crowd, and I saw their response, although I wasn't singing my original song,
Hmm.
that for me was like the green light. Okay, you can do something out of this. You in the right path. Keep going.
Okay. Uh, Through your entertaining, the crowd, is it the way they respond to encourage you to be a better performer?
I don't like to say this, but I say it anyway. I'm a perfectionist,
Okay.
and I believe in mastering my craft. I don't get tired. Um, Sleeping just makes me anxious or nervous, like I'm missing out. It's like I could be improving my life in some aspect where I'm lacking something.
Right.
And it's always, career motivated. So I can say, yeah, my audience, definitely, they always give me, that cheer and that confidence and that drive to want to be better at my next performance, to want to be the best at my next recording and so forth.
Okay. So let's talk about the different genres of music that you do. Tell my viewers about that.
Okay, well, I'm in South Africa, and in South Africa, we have 11 official languages, of which I think I know about nine of them.
Wow.
So the genre part comes in, I create a song based on my current emotion and feeling.
Hmm.
So I might be feeling happy. If I'm feeling happy or laid back, that's R&B, that's soulful. Could be Afrobeat. If I'm feeling upstep, up tempo, that's house, automatically house.
Right.
Could be house, could be soulful house, could be church house. And if I'm morose, then obviously I'm doing ballads, I'm doing blues, I'm pouring out my heart, not the same woman. I'm doing as the seasons change on you. So the different genres are literally inspired by what I'm feeling at that exact moment when I've got that pen and paper. I believe in pen and paper, guys. I don't write my lyrics on my phone and stuff. No.
It's
Paper.
funny that you say about the house thing because you sent me a track and it's on one of my mixtape, and I did a remix on it. I think did you hear it? I know you heard it.
Oh, yes, I did. And you know what? I think it's also one of the first mixes that were made because I
Oh,
think I have
really?
two mixes. Yes, it's one of the first mixes that were made.
I am
So,
very flattered.
I am flattered. I'm beyond flattered. I am honored. You flattered. I am so 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 honored,
Okay.
to have you guys receiving me so well, Tyrone. Thank you so so much.
We're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back and we're going to continue talking to Cebu. We're airing from South Africa, and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
Okay. Day one, back when Cupid shot me, I was not immediately weak at my knees. Then a number of days went by, and I started to get shy. Cause my heart was pumping, thoughts of happiness were flowing. I never thought I'd feel this way. I thought I'd feel. You're the best of my everyday. You're the best of me. I'm not the same woman I was. I'm not the same since I felt your touch. I'm not the same woman I was. I'm not the same since I found your love. Since I found your love. Since I found your love. Since I found your love.
Hi, my name is Tyrone Lowe from The Legends, and we're airing straight from South Africa with the fabulous and talented Cebu. Hey, Cebu.
Hey, Tyrone.
I just want to ask a question pertaining to coronavirus, and has it affected you or anybody in Africa to the point where everything is prolonged or standstilled?
Definitely. We all feeling the wave, and in my family, in our family, we have actually lost two members in the space of 2 days. So definitely, and career-wise, I would say it's a huge knock because artists like myself, we're going hungry. There's nothing scarier than you not knowing when you're getting your next loaf of bread from, because things get really so tight. You start running out of your savings, and we're definitely feeling it. But I don't believe in complaining about a situation. There's always a way. There's always a way.
Okay. So, as an early artist, who influenced you to actually sing, perform, or write?
I was waiting for this one. Uh, my biggest inspiration, and I can say my first ever girl crush, was Alicia Keys.
Okay.
Plain and simple, because she plays piano, she writes her own things, and she expresses herself with such elegance and dignity. She doesn't have to go out there and shake her booty, and I've got nothing against people who do. I mean, if you're comfortable with that and if it works for you as an artist, yay. But I believe in covering up. I'm close to a nun, so yeah, I could say Alicia Keys did it for me. She definitely paved the way for me.
Okay. And if we didn't have this virus going on, what would be some of the things that you were supposed to do?
Well, it's community outreaches, because I miss that the most. Going out
Okay.
there into the underprivileged communities and places where I know that, they are music lovers, old people, fans, diehards, who don't have the finances to go out to go and watch us performing. So what I normally do is every Sunday when I come back from church and after having lunch with my family, I'll pack up my sound system equipment and I'll take my husband and we'll go out to a random community and just ask to rent out or buy electricity for them so that we can entertain them for a couple of hours in the afternoon. So I really, really miss that, interacting with people in our communities and societies and just making them forget about their problems through music.
Um, my thing is, I ask everybody this question. As an artist right now, how do you see yourself at least 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I'm going to be opening big stages. I'm talking about singing alongside Anita Baker, because I was close to that last year. I was invited to the 2019 New Orleans Jazz Festival, and
Okay.
due to lack of funding, I couldn't make the trip. But I do know most definitely, now that my songs are playing in over 23 countries, I'm definitely going to be opening stages for huge artists, and I'm gonna be having a house in 5 years. I'll have a house in America in 5 years. I can guarantee you that, Tyrone.
Well, you know what? I can guarantee if you're going to be um, in the States in 5 years, you definitely be in my studio right here.
That for sure. Yes. Yes.
uh, you know, um, for upcoming artists that's starting right now,
Hmm.
it might be a slow start due to the transition of the atmosphere right now. But what can you actually say to them to encourage them in this craft?
I would say don't ever doubt yourself. However little you may think of yourself, it's actually something deeper, and there's something greater about you. There's something, that speaks volumes about your struggles, because I believe that your challenges are as big as your blessings. So you have got to, constantly self motivate. You have to be comfortable with your own company. You have to learn to laugh past your pain. And those small little things of taking time and doing self introspection and just growing as an individual, you loving yourself, you'll be able to love your enemy. And I the way that I am. So yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Let's talk about your new single.
Hmm.
Let's talk about it. Tell the viewers about your new single that's out right now.
Okay. Not the Same Woman was released in February, and I know that I didn't make enough noise about it, but it's there. And I shot a music video for it sometime at the end of June, and I just released the music video on the 1st of September. Reason for that is September is my birth month. So I just thought, you know what, I really, really want to do something special for my listeners. And I had the video was edited in Norway by a good friend of mine, and I think it's worth a check. You should go check it out.
Okay. Um, who does? How do you do? How do you do? How do you actually do the marketing for your music?
Okay, social media has become my best friend.
Okay.
I always thought that, you know what, I took it for granted at first because I thought just posting on Instagram was enough, but you actually need to constantly be connecting with people who are in the same creative atmosphere or space or line of work that you are in. Because how do I get my songs onto radio if I'm posting my songs to other artists and there's nobody who is a radio personality there, for example? So you constantly have to be doing research as well. Google is my best friend, and yeah, social media.
So how would you say that? What's your fan base right now? How would you? Let's talk about that. Tell me about that. Let the viewers know about your fan base.
I have got a huge fan base abroad. And reason for that is my song started trending in the UK and in the US. And then they spread like wildfire right around Brazil, Spain, Italy. They like literally all over. And I'm now starting to tap into home soil here in South Africa, which has been a challenge. There's a lot of red tape when it comes to that, and the reason for that is not all artists are educated enough to know the business side of music. When it comes to registering your song and all the nitty bitty gritties. So I would say that, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
think I said it all.
Okay. So listen, any upcoming events that you want to tell the viewers about? That might be they might be able to tap into.
Well, at the moment, I'm just literally waiting for, the pandemic to die down because I want to start my touring. I want to start raising funds so that I can, come up to America. That's the first place I want to come up to is America. So, I can literally start doing things that I can see. It's not that I don't see what I'm doing right now, but I want to be out there feeling the audience's energy and just inspiring people, because there's nothing that humbles and drives me more than to hear, Sibu, you saved my marriage through the song, thank you so much. So I have to come out there and do that. My fan base is pretty cool. I've got a rocking fan base.
I'm sure you do, and you do because I'm usually on social media, promoting my show just like you do, and
Yeah.
I constantly run right into you. So I'm like, well, Cebu's doing her thing, and stuff.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to tell you, Cebu, that I am very flattered to have you on my show. You know, you're very informative, and I just love the way that you vibe as far as the way that you communicate, and thank you for encouraging those that's actually, trying to, you know, do their thing, you know. And
Mhm.
do you have any shout outs to anybody that you want to shout out to?
Oh, yes, definitely. I would first and
Let's go.
foremost like to thank God for the air in my lungs, because none of this would be possible without the air in my lungs. The special pipes that I got. A special shout out to you, Tyrone, for the awesome opportunity. And
I thank you
you
very much.
wouldn't be having me on your show if you didn't believe in me in any way. So I'm truly grateful to you and your wonderful team. And a very, very special thanks as well to my manager and husband, Denzel Gounden, because he's the reason why the world knows my name right now.
Mm.
And above and beyond, my kids, my greatest inspiration, and to my fans, everybody who's out there streaming my music and liking my music, thank you all so much.
Okay. And there it is. This is Tyrone Lowe from the Legends, airing from South Africa with the talented Cebu. We thank you guys for listening and tuning in, and stay tuned for another Tilo Video Productions. Y'all have a nice day.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
My assignment, my calling is to inspire, uplift,
You have to make sure your people are partying.
All I want to do is just bring joy to the dance floor and watch people dance.
T, no.